Hello to all you guys out there in YouTube land. This is me, DR, and I've got another video about Cambridge Analytica. We know the story in the US. I think anyone who's not aware of Cambridge Analytica might be living under a rock. But Cambridge Analytica, they've been at the centre of the controversy surrounding user data, Facebook, and the US election. Interestingly enough, a lot of things are coming out about Cambridge Analytica in the UK, their connection to the Brexit and the EU referendum. That's kind of what fascinated me and turned me on to make this video. So a bit of kind of backstory around it. Vote Leave chief Dominic Cummings has come out rejecting claims that they worked with Cambridge Analytica. This is kind of on the back of a Guardian article stating some weird connections between Cambridge Analytica and a Canadian agency called Aggregate AIQ. Now, interesting enough, Dominic Cummings says he doesn't believe there's any connections. The only contact he had with Cambridge Analytica was in email trails, which he's published, where Cambridge Analytica has offered services similar to what was offered in the US about user data to Vote Leave. Funnily enough, people are now saying that Vote Leave, as an offshoot, was separated to engage in this type of activities. No evidence has come out to support this, but there's lots of talk about the fact that the main Leave campaign and Vote Leave are actually connected. As I said, I've got no evidence to back this up. My kind of initial thoughts about this is, of course, they were connected. At least they would have talked or shared ideas and information. It seems unreal that two groups fighting for the same thing would hold information and keep it away from each other, especially if they thought they had something really juicy. So Vote Leave spent about £3 million, which is something in the region, I think the Guardian said, around about 70% of their Leave budget on work with Aggregate AIG. Now, interesting enough, in 2014, Aggregate AIG built a lot of the systems that then supported Cambridge Analytica's parent company, SCL. So they did a lot of that work. Wiley, the head of Cambridge Analytica, who has since resigned, actually was on the record saying that they were basically the same company, that Aggregate AIQ was like a division of Cambridge Analytica and the company. So you kind of put them in the same bracket. There's lots of claims that have come out and said rejected this, but actually it seems that these two companies were the same. So when Vote Leave says, we didn't work with Cambridge Analytica, maybe they didn't work with Cambridge Analytica, but they worked with Aggregate AIQ, who basically were a part of Cambridge Analytica and the work they were doing unofficially. So kind of what's my take on this whole thing? I think one of the things it's highlighted to me is how naive people are to think that all these things were happening and people weren't using your data. When people click on something that is deemed free software, what do you think they were doing when they're writing in their data? And to think that people aren't going to do anything with that data is incredibly naive, in my opinion. Anyway, I'm not discounting anyone of any moral obligation. I'm not saying they were right. I'm not saying they were wrong. I'm just saying it's all this head in the sandism is starting to come out, and people are like, wow, what a surprise. Well, what do you think people were doing with your data? How do you think people got your telephone number to ring you up, to cold call you, especially in the UK? What do you think that all these free services were asking for your data for? What do you think they were going to do? And then to naively think that the information you were told or you saw on some website because you Googled one response and got what you thought, was was accurate information because you didn't research it and didn't look into it. What do you think they were putting that together for? I think Neil deGrasse Tyson summed it up in his kind of response against the flat Earth community, that what we're seeing is the failing of the education system and people in general to understand how to think. So when they get some information, what to do with it. So the amount of people that I came across during the EU referendum, who once I had a conversation with them about Brexit, accused me either of being forthright of shoving my views down their throat, and I wasn't. I promise you, it was literally just a case of, so what do you think? Have you researched it? Have you looked into it? And because they hadn't, and they felt embarrassed about it, they just stopped and was like, don't pressure me. And it's like, look into these things because it's important. But also the people that unquestionably accepted claims like 350 million going to the NHS, unwaveringly accepted these claims as if they were gospel, without thinking about it, without researching it, without looking into it. And it's why you end up with all this pseudoscience. I think Potholder always says, look into the research, look into the papers. But I'm surprised how many people don't have the ability to do that, or feel they don't have the capability to do that. And that's scary. There are some people that think it's too complicated because answers aren't simple. And this is a prime example how people are willing to use that. Companies are willing to use that to get what they want. To think there's not basic manipulation going on in the world is crazy. And it's just surprising to me how surprised people are that a company like this, one, exists, and two, people would use the data this company can provide to manipulate them. I find it surprising that people are surprised. I find it surprising that article that you saw popping up on Facebook that you believed unwaveringly might have come from data provided by Cambridge Analytica or some subset thereof. I'm also surprised when people go, I didn't work, and they go, we didn't work we paid for some kind of research from a company that's connected to, but we didn't ask them. It's like saying, I didn't ride the bus, but what I did do is get on a mass transit system that I paid a certain amount. It wasn't this bus, it was not a bus, but a bus. Same like, 350 million disappeared and no one talks about it. I just find it surprising. Anyway, this is DR. I'd love to know your opinion on it. Love to know what you think about the controversy and what's been going on. So like, share and subscribe. Stick your comments in the doobly-doo down there. And have a safe journey wherever you're heading. Bye!